Tensions in the West Philippine Sea remain a defining issue in relations between the Philippines and China, but recent statements from Manila suggest that diplomacy and cooperation are still very much on the table, at least under certain conditions. The Philippine government has made it clear that it is not ruling out the possibility of entering into a joint exploration agreement with China for oil and gas resources in disputed waters. This comes at a time when energy security is becoming increasingly important, not only for the Philippines, but for the broader region as well. Discussions around resource development have resurfaced amid growing demand and recent discoveries of gas reserves near contested areas, highlighting the strategic value of the West Philippine Sea. Palace Press Officer Claire Castro addressed the issue directly, emphasizing that the country remains open to dialogue and potential cooperation. Her remarks came after China reiterated that it is willing to pursue joint development, provided that the Philippines demonstrates what it described as sincerity in negotiations. Castro pushed back against any suggestion that the Philippines has been anything less than genuine in its dealings, stressing that the country has consistently engaged in good faith under the current administration. At the same time, she underscored a key principle guiding the government's position: any agreement must serve the national interest. Claire Castro said that if such a deal is good for the Philippines, the president has no objections. This statement reflects the broader stance of Ferdinand Marcos Jr., who continues to lead the country's foreign policy approach. His administration has adopted a careful balancing act, asserting sovereignty in contested waters while keeping diplomatic channels open with Beijing. The president has already acknowledged that joint exploration is not just a theoretical idea, but an ongoing topic of discussion between the two countries. President Marcos earlier said a joint exploration is one matter the two countries have been discussing. However, despite this openness, the path forward remains complicated. The long-standing territorial dispute in the South China Sea continues to be a major obstacle to any formal agreement. However, he added that territorial disputes are getting in the way of any agreement. These disputes are deeply rooted and involve overlapping claims by several countries in the region. China maintains expansive claims over much of the South China Sea, including areas that fall within the Philippines' exclusive economic zone. This has led to years of diplomatic tensions, maritime incidents, and legal battles. The Philippines, for its part, has consistently relied on international law to support its claims. A landmark 2016 arbitration ruling invalidated China's sweeping claims, although Beijing has refused to recognize the decision. The issue has remained unresolved, continuing to influence both diplomatic and economic engagements between the two nations. Despite these challenges, the Marcos administration has signaled that it prefers a pragmatic approach, one that does not entirely shut the door on cooperation. According to Castro, the absence of a current agreement does not mean one will never materialize. Recent reports confirm that while no joint exploration is currently underway, the possibility remains open for the future. This openness aligns with the administration's broader foreign policy strategy, which emphasizes dialogue and negotiation as primary tools for managing disputes. Since taking office, President Marcos has repeatedly stated that differences with China should be addressed through peaceful means, even as the Philippines continues to assert its territorial rights. Still, any potential agreement faces not only diplomatic hurdles, but also legal and constitutional constraints. A previous joint exploration deal involving China was struck down by the Philippine Supreme Court, which ruled that such arrangements must ensure full state control over natural resources. This precedent continues to shape how policymakers approach similar proposals today. Public sentiment also plays a critical role. The West Philippine Sea has become a powerful symbol of national sovereignty, and any agreement with China is likely to be closely scrutinized by lawmakers, analysts, and the general public. Concerns about fairness, transparency, and long-term implications remain central to the debate. Meanwhile, China has maintained that cooperation is possible if both sides can set aside differences. Chinese officials have described joint development as a way to promote stability and deliver mutual benefits, reiterating that dialogue remains open as long as trust and sincerity are demonstrated. For the Philippines, however, the challenge lies in ensuring that any such cooperation does not undermine its legal position or sovereign rights. This delicate balance between economic opportunity and national interest continues to shape the country's approach. Castro's remarks ultimately capture this nuanced stance. The Philippines is neither fully embracing nor outright rejecting the idea of joint exploration. Instead, it is keeping its options open while carefully weighing the potential benefits against the risks. In practical terms, this means that negotiations, if they move forward, will likely be slow, cautious, and heavily scrutinized. Any agreement would need to satisfy legal requirements, address public concerns, and navigate the broader geopolitical landscape of the region. The West Philippine Sea remains one of the most strategically important and contested waterways in the world. It is not only rich in natural resources, but also a vital route for global trade. As such, developments in this area carry implications far beyond the Philippines and China, affecting regional stability and international relations. For now, the message from Manila is clear. Cooperation is possible, but only under the right conditions. The government is open to dialogue, but it is equally firm in its commitment to protect national sovereignty. And as long as territorial disputes remain unresolved, any potential agreement will continue to face significant challenges. In the end, the situation reflects a broader reality in international relations, where diplomacy often requires navigating competing interests, balancing principles with pragmatism, and keeping communication open, even in the face of disagreement. The possibility of joint exploration may still be uncertain, but it remains a topic that both countries are actively considering, shaped by ongoing negotiations, legal boundaries, and the ever-evolving dynamics of the region.